I was feeling for some time when I was in New York that 2020, for some reason, I had this intuition that the year 2020 would be a big year, something about 2020 vision. In around 2016, 2017, I had these urges to go out western, to the western United States, buy a car, live in a car, do something different. March 22nd, 2020, I was about to get on a boat and there was a major stoppage of the world.
All right, so welcome everyone. We're here with another wonderful interview for Have Your Adventure. We're doing this as part of the Escape Diary series. As you guys know, me and Alexandra, we were traveling for the past year. We came from Austria, made our way to Mexico, then to Paraguay, and now we're in Brazil. We're in Brazil in this beautiful state of Bahia. And right now we're here with Jean-Michel, and he's one of the travelers we met along the way, and his story is so fascinating that we really want to have an interview with him, and that's why we're here right now. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Jean-Michel.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I will. My name is Jean-Michel. I'm originally from Illinois in the United States. And I went to school in Illinois. I studied film history and film directing. And I studied abroad for 1 year in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And that was in 2010 to 2011. And then after I graduated the next year from the University of Illinois, I moved to New York and was in New York City for about 8 years. And there in New York, I was working as an artist assistant, a studio manager for an artist, a fine art photographer, as well as doing my own theater projects and film projects on the side. Mm-hmm. And I was focusing on theater directing and writing, and yeah, I was doing that for a time, and it was very enjoyable. New York is a great place for that industry. I was really passionate about what I was doing. Met a lot of other artists doing the same things. I spent a lot of my time in working with painters and plastic artists, and incorporating that into my own theater and film projects. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I was working in the film industry in a lot of different facets, but staying true to my own work, my own projects. I wanted to fund my own material. And yeah, so that's a little bit of where I started. And then the past year or so, last year and a half, were a big transition, a big change from that lifestyle that I was living in New York. I was living in Manhattan and Harlem, and now I'm here in Bahia. So it's a very, very different, a very major transition, but
big step, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad for where I am now, and yeah, there's so many different facets of why I decided to leave. And yeah, so that's a little bit of my background. But
was that the first destination where you wanted to go, or was there something else that came to mind when you were still living in New York?
So I was feeling for some time when I was in New York that 2020, for some reason, I had this intuition that the year 2020 would be a big year, something about 2020 vision, 2020 being perfect vision, and the symmetry of those numbers, and it just seems like something's building up to something in that year. And I had this feeling, and in around 2016, 2017, I had these urges to go out western, to the western United States, buy a car, live in a car, do something different. And I was just having this impulse to do that. Mm-hmm. At the time, I was reading a lot of material from ancient India called the Vedas. I got extremely inspired from one particular book, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And at the time I was doing theater, but I said, I want to make a film out of this. This is fascinating material. and I have barely ever heard of it. This is ripe for a project. So I committed to doing a film at that time period, and I put my plans on leaving New York on hold, signed a new 2-year lease on my apartment, and so I went straight into pre-production to make a feature film. And
Yeah, I have a question about that.
Yes.
So for the viewers who are not familiar with the Vedas, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes.
What is that concept, or is that a book? Or?
It's a group of books. It's some of the oldest books, if not the oldest books still in existence that we have today, from ancient India. So we're talking anywhere from 1,500 to 10,000 years old. Some of this material, it's variated. Texts were copied and recopied, but we can say that, and most scholars will agree, it's some of the oldest material we have in existence. And there's a huge array, many branches of different books. They're all collectively called the Vedas. And a particular book that I found was dealing with the cosmology of this culture. And I was really fascinated how they viewed the world, the different spiritual elements included into the world. I studied these subjects, philosophy, spirituality, of all different cultures while I was in university. But I had never heard of Vedas. We call it Hinduism as we grow up. And so we hear this word Hinduism, but it really doesn't, that's not what it's called within the system. And it's kind of the term Hinduism is a word that was invented by the British in the 1800s when they were dominating India.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that.
Yeah.
Hinduism, I guess that's like a religion nowadays, right?
We say it's a religion. When I grew up, we're told that there's 33 million gods, and it's polytheistic, and that's the basics of what you learn. What it is actually a huge diverse array, dozens of different groupings of people who venerate different gods within the system, different beings within the system of a larger system. So on the surface, it seems a bunch of all these different Indians practice different beliefs. They have different deities. What they come from are these collections of books we call the Vedas, and the term for Hinduism within the system is Sanatana Dharma. And the initial idea is that it's millions of gods. It's millions of gods, but when you read the books, someone who is just getting into it, you see the term just God used, one. And what it is actually, it's polytheism within monotheism. It's monotheistic in the sense that there's only one God, but there's millions of differentiations of what God is. This butterfly is God. These plants, it's all one. And there are different levels of beings within it. Human beings being at a level, certain beings have higher spiritual development than others. There are demigods, there are demons, and there's different groupings and levels of beings. So you could call these demigods gods, but they're not the one God, they're just one part of God. So upon learning about the deeper facets and reading from the books themselves of what Hinduism is, or I prefer to say the Vedas. Veda means knowledge, so the knowledge of India. It's fascinating, and it answers many classical philosophical questions that the Western world would have. In school, you have philosophy classes, and what is meaning, and what is morality, and what is the purpose of life. These fundamental questions that Western philosophy has are answered very directly and in detail in the Vedas, and I was so surprised to see very elaborate, non-speculative but authoritative statements on what the meaning of life is. So upon first reading the Vedic material, I was extremely inspired and felt I want to communicate this to the Western world as best as I can in the medium that I'm using, which at the time was theater, but I felt this could be a great movie to incorporate these amazing ideas, this amazing worldview to people. And because, like I said, in the West, we have some vague ideas of what is the Vedas, but it's very indirect. For example, yoga, so popular. What is yoga? It's all based on the Vedas. Yoga means union or yoke, and the purpose of yoga contrary to what people in the West would think. It's not to have a beautiful body, and it's not to work on your breathing and be calm. The core purpose of yoga is to yoke yourself with God, the one essence, who lives in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So when you connect your heart with with one supreme reality, you're yoked together with what we call God. So this connection to God and growing closer to God in a holistic sense is what the core teachings of the Vedas are. So this is kind of lost in the mix in the West. You don't really hear about this profoundly spiritual angle. It's more about go and lose weight or become self-actualized in whatever that could mean. And there's a big focus in the West on the body aspect rather than your soul aspect. What doesn't die when your physical body dies. So learning about all of this really blew my mind, and I wanted to bring this into the Western audience, especially in New York. Everyone loves yoga, but what are the Vedas? How come it's not? People can connect them, but I was really excited to present this material to an audience that had the space to learn and grow about it, and make it an interesting, fun to watch film in that respect. So yeah, I set off to do that, and I went to pre-productions around 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And went full gun-ho into it, cast my friends, cast other actors, and yeah, made the film and went into production. That took about, the film is called Vedic Nights, and it was, I released it this year, late 2019, 2020, releasing it now.
Yeah, we can
And,
put a link to it in the description so that people know where to find it.
Yeah, and so my purpose is to introduce people to these ideas through both nonfiction, and then my film is a fictional representation of the ideas, one story taken directly from the Srimad Bhagavatam, adapted to a contemporary setting, and has to do with an artist in the art world where I was working at the time, a painter entering into a new contract, and how the material success will affect someone's spiritual growth. And this idea, our spiritual lives and our material lives, and how those are connected, and how once we go further and deeper into a material existence, what sacrifices are we making for our spiritual development? And so, yeah, these are all amazing. This is represented amazingly in the Vedas. So I feel I felt the strong urge, and I still do today, to show this this amazing philosophy, this major spiritual system to people based on the books themselves, not from speculation, I guess.
Yeah, so in a way you're telling a story, and you're taking the Vedas as philosophy of that story, right? And in a way, people who will watch it, they learn about the Vedas and the morals. And
right, the morality of it, how God exists on many levels in our life, and that the other core idea, it's mentioned across history. Jesus mentioned it. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and that's the same, repeated over and over. That the supreme Lord God, the supreme personality of Godhead, lives within you as the super soul, and it's the feeling that within you, you're a piece of God. You're a co-creator in this magical realm that we live within, and we all have a purpose. We all come to the world with a script, and it goes on. It's fascinating, and I could talk about it for days and days. I'm very passionate about it because it incorporates so many spiritual systems, and again, it's our oldest system, and there's something to that.
Yeah.
It could survive for so long, and so yeah.
That's beautiful. So
Yeah.
how did that get you to Brazil and not to India, let's say? Right?
Great question. I was at the time in 2016, 2017, just playing with going to India. I wanted to go. It didn't materialize. I didn't really have a purpose yet. I didn't know where I wanted to go in India. My film was taking up all of my time. So I got to the end of the editing, 2019. I was finishing it up, the editing, shooting the last scenes. And so my lease was ending in 2020. I ended up getting a job on a cruise ship, and to do film production on the cruise ship, on the theatrical part of the cruise ship with Celebrity Cruises. And that was going to start March 22nd, 2020. I was about to get on a boat And
That is like you have the customers, like the cruise ship
uh-huh.
people. They want to
Yeah, luxury
do,
cruises. So people
okay.
would come on, and
do
it's a
some
classic.
acting.
I wasn't going to be an actor. I was going to just do the lighting and the backstage
But the actor
production.
would be the passengers of the cruise ship, or would they?
Oh no,
would it be like?
no, it wasn't my project. It was a job, a production job. You know, so I wanted to make money outside of New York because New York is so expensive. So it's very advantageous on a cruise ship. You're just making the money. It's room and board is paid for. So I thought this is going to be great. I'm going to work on a cruise ship on a contract and going to travel in the Caribbean and do production, my work, and finish my film and release it, save money. So that was at the end. I ended up leaving New York to prepare to go on the ship in early March of 2020. And as we all know, what happened at this time period, there was a major stoppage of the world, and this major stoppage of the world, this worldwide lockdown, brought me back to my hometown in Rockford. So I ended up, the cruise ship got canceled
Yeah.
for that time. I'm back in my hometown, in my mom's house. You know, when do I get on this ship? So it's kind of a waiting game.
They started postponing. Probably,
Yeah,
and said,
postponing
Like,
and-
maybe 2
yeah.
weeks, everything's gonna be over.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
weeks?
Just 2 weeks.
Just wait 2 weeks.
Yeah,
everything's
that's
gonna be
it.
fine.
2 weeks. So I said, I don't know if I believe them. I don't know if it doesn't seem like 2 weeks. They're really working this angle of this pandemic very, very thoroughly. There's a lot of angles to this, and it seemed to be growing by the day. So I wasn't expecting to get on any ship between 2 weeks. I thought this is going to be a little longer. I did think so. The contract was 6 months on the cruise ship. I was thinking ahead a little bit. I applied for a job to move to have a job in France, and that would have started in October. So I was going to do this cruise ship, go to France in October at the end of this contract. And it was an English teaching job in France, in the public schools in France. And so my next film project was going to be with another spiritual system about the Gnostic Christians, the Cathars, who were living in the south of France during the early Middle Ages.
Yeah.
And so, all of it was thrown into the air in March 2020. I was very grateful that I was able to get out of New York literally 2 days before the mask mandates came. So I felt much more safe in my hometown at my mother's house. It was, I wasn't paying rent. People are still back rent for a year in New York. So I felt very fortunate. I got out just by the skin of my teeth, in a sense, of this very intense new reality that was entering into everyone's life worldwide. So I kind of felt very blessed that I was able to have 6 months of at that time I didn't know it'd be 6 months, but time to kind of rest and fully finish my film and the color correcting and get it all set and done. So
Where were you at that time?
So I was doing the color correcting, so this is 2020. So 2019, almost all editing. 2020, doing the color correcting, and by October I was fully done with everything. The last final cuts were done with the film, and then by that time I got accepted for the job in France, and it was delayed a little bit. So then
Another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Delay.
Yeah, another two. Yeah, just 2 weeks for them too.
2 weeks.
It was wild. I mean, if we all think back, it was kind of a wild time. Who knew anything? It was hard to
Yeah.
tell anything. But I went. So again, I got the job in France. Left for France in November of 2020. Got to France, and in France, so in the U.S. at the time, it was full lockdown, and then it was easing. France was pretty calm up until October. Their lockdowns really began in earnest around the time that I arrived. So restaurants were open when I arrived. I think in early December they said, okay, we're shutting it down for 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks, they said.
2
Literally,
weeks.
just
Yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks. It's gonna be just a 2 weeks, maybe
There-
3.
There's
And-
something about 2 weeks in the minds of people where they're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, 2 weeks. I can do 2 weeks.
It's not that much. It's like
It's
a
not that much.
vacation. It
Right,
can be
it's
like a
just-
vacation.
Just 2 weeks.
And so I was walking around in France, and I was a bit melancholy because I was watching. I walked around the downtown one day, and there was cafes, beautiful town I was in, and it was lively. But the 2 week lockdown was beginning the next Monday, and I was seeing this could be, you know, the last times when are these going to open again? And the people kind of were assuming, oh, it's just going to be 2 weeks. And I was melancholy because I knew that the 2 weeks wasn't 2 weeks back in the United States. So when they were re-saying this in France, like, it's not going to be 2 weeks, but the French didn't seem to really be too worried about it. Like, it's just a 2 week vacation for us. We're all still getting paid. Most of them still get paid throughout it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of sad to see it happen, that everything was closing, and but I did still have a job. I was able to, you know, be supported in my apartment, and yes, it was not 2 weeks. Their lockdowns continued in France, and it was getting a little bit more strict by the week. And then arrived in February. In February, around that time, they started to get stricter and stricter. And this was, I'm saying, 6 o'clock curfew, and no leaving your house. Everything's still closed. And so I was getting this feeling, I don't want to get trapped here in Europe. I'm going to my job every day wearing a mask. For me, masks are extremely uncomfortable. I know people say, oh, just wear it. There's something subtle, psychological, very intense. It's very intense for me to wear a mask, and it's not like that for everyone. People get used to it. I could never get used to it. I can't stand them, but having to go to work every day and teach, it's very difficult to teach children a language, speaking, and I can't see their faces, they can't see my face, so I'm always pulling the mask down. It's a big part of it, communication. The face in general, it's everything. I do film and theater. Everything is about the face, and there's just a major block to try to communicate anything to somebody wearing a mask, especially little children. Mm-hmm. They're reading so much into what you're expressing, especially words. I'm pulling my mask down, pronouncing things. You know, it's a faux pas, so to say, and, you know, I wasn't in trouble for doing that in class. I was always pulling the mask down, but it just became this really aggravating kind of block.
Yeah.
As a teacher.
And you were English language teacher, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
You had to give them a way to understand how the language works, right?
Yeah.
That is part of it.
Right? It's a fundamental aspect of another language is looking at the mouth, seeing how the mouth moves. And I'm learning French the whole time, bettering all my French, and I love learning French, and I'm trying to see their face, but, you know, so they're saying, and, you know, it's just, you know, everyone's used to masks by now, so it's no news to anyone. But for me, it was really difficult to work in this setting. So and then combined with lockdowns, not being able to leave my apartment, it's just getting on the train, going to work, coming home, and it's very not maddening, but felt very much like a prison.
And the other project you were talking about, the historic project, right?
Yeah.
Did that not happen at all?
So I was doing research. I was doing first primary research, reading books in French about the medieval Cathars, and the plan was to use my film that I just made and project onto my next project, which would be about the Cathars again, taking a spiritual tradition lesser known, the Gnostic Christian religion. So a little background: the Cathars were wiped out by the First Crusade by the papacy in around 1200 AD. So they were wiped out. Why? What are their beliefs? All very fascinating. My job was in this region in southwestern France. I requested to work there, so it was I was still passionate about this project
Yeah, I remember hearing something about them, and what's really interesting about them is that they had huge castles, right? Mm-hmm. And they were all destroyed, like pretty brutally destroyed, and they don't really know exactly how that's possible. They're all ruins now, right?
Yeah, there's various ruins. The story we're told, they had Montségur is one of the famous ones, and they were chased to the top of this castle on top of a hill, and they had a siege there. And so, yeah, how did this pastoral group of priests and Christians build a fortress in a short period of time while they're being chased out? So yeah, there's many ruins there, and unfortunately for me, everything was closed. So I wanted to go to these places, film, and very beautiful ruins and these old medieval castles, and it was just a little sad. You know, I really wanted to do it, but it's what happened. No regrets, but the project couldn't get off the ground. So although I was doing the best I could with research-wise, there's this lockdown. This is just our new reality. That I can't just can't wait to be told what's going to happen next, because the 2 weeks turned into, what are we on, a year and a half, and it's still.
Oh yeah.
We're still being told
year and a
various
half.
things.
Flatten the curve.
Yeah, we're still flattening
your
it, and so yeah, I still have there's still a place in my heart for this project. I'll never fully give it up. I always I had this idea for the film even before the Vedic film, but I had to go to France to do it. So it was all tying in well, but there was a big obstacle, and that was just an obstacle brought on by life. So that brought me to February. I realized that, we're not in France, we're in Brazil.
You're in Brazil.
Yeah.
How
So
did we get here?
yeah. So how did I get all the way to Brazil? So at the time, I was really getting a little bit more anxious, so to say, about what would happen for my own personal safety. I didn't want to be in a foreign country and be forced to. I didn't know what was going to happen. What if these lockdowns continue until after my visa expires? Now I'm stuck in France and visa's gone. How am I going to make money? I could always go back to the US. So my visa was going to expire. I could always go back to the US. I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. Go right back to Illinois. So I met a friend who's a friend now online, but at the time we were in a small research group on Telegram, and I had asked, it was being thrown around, where are good places to live in this moment in the world that we're in? Societies that maybe aren't as strict with lockdown, societies that aren't going to repress the people so directly through technological means, this technocracy that we're all experiencing, our freedom being associated so close with technology, or our lives being so close to technology, and control being tied into that. I had heard, Mexico's a great place to go, Brazil's a good place to go, Thailand, Bali, these countries, and I was even looking for a time, am I going to go to Thailand? I got to play with these ideas, because right now Europe is not seeming like a very good place for me. Mm-hmm. And so I asked this research group, someone in the research group, does anyone live in Brazil? I got a number of a guy, he's an American, ask him. I just started talking to this person. So what's going on there in Brazil? Oh, I'm in Bahia. It's really nice. And he started suggesting to me, if you want to come here, it's really nice. We have plenty of bananas and coconuts, and it's a looser kind of situation. And I said, okay, maybe I might do that. I had this very anxious feeling. I meditated upon it for a few days, bought a ticket. Within 1 week, I was on a bus to Paris, went from Paris to Madrid to Sao Paulo to Bahia, to Salvador Bahia, and then a bus. And it was a really wild transition, because I don't make major decisions like that. As you can see, I like to plan things out. Production, I'm a production person. And I plan things in the future very far ahead. All of a sudden, I'm buying a ticket and I'm leaving Europe and I'm going back to Brazil. I had studied in Brazil, so I already speak Portuguese, so I can get away. I know the culture a little bit, I can speak Portuguese. And it was boom, now I'm in Brazil. And where am I going? I'm gonna find a town, I'm just gonna get an apartment and see what happens, and find this person who I just met online who suggested I do this.
So you did it all by yourself, right?
All by myself.
And you didn't really know anyone here?
I didn't
just
know
that one person,
just
maybe?
this guy who I'd met through, I didn't know him at all. All I knew
Online,
his name, and he gave me some info and
Mm-hmm.
a estimate of where he was. He didn't tell me exactly where he was, but I said, I think I have this feeling he's in this area. So then I ended up staying a month in the town I moved to, and went to another town, and I said, I like this town. It's a little bit more low key. I'm liking the vibe here. And then one day in the supermarket, since he had sent me a photo of himself, he's in the supermarket. There he is, and I only knew his screen name, so I went up to him and just said, "Hey man, what's up? I know who you are." I used his screen name, and that's how we met. And we talked for 45 minutes. We hit it off right away. And my friend, we're great buddies now, and we have a lot in common. And it's been great. So I met someone by doing, just kind of not jumping into the wind, but it was a kind of a divine trust. I just trusted that this seemed right at the time, and I moved. And it was a big radical move, but the pressure, I felt the walls closing in on me in France, and I just have to make some kind of change. So Bahia was the answer, and so that was this past February. It's almost the end of June, so this is where I've been since. So it was a series of taking chances and not really knowing, but yeah.
And what is it now here in Bahia that's so special? Like, would you say you would like to stay, or is that the place to be at the moment?
Yeah, well, I like it here. I like the weather a lot. It's a very beautiful place. One thing I never really do, I want to say to people, is I don't romanticize travel, and I'm not a person that loves to travel all the time just for the sake of discovery. I mean, I'm very much more of an internal traveler in a way. I learn a lot through looking within myself for ideas and in books even. So I can see the utility of traveling the world to find out new things. But me, I'm not that kind of person where I'm always searching for something new on the outside. So that being said, I know a lot of people, it's hard for them to jump out of their comfort zone and go to a new place like this. So for me, this is nice, and it's still life. Everyone has to find a way to live. So there could be this amazing feeling. It'll wear off a little bit after, and you have to keep living. So this is a great place to be at the moment. But what I like to say to people is, you can find anything you're looking for where you are. So although I personally am enjoying where I am now, I feel like this is where I need to be. People are in kind of a stuck kind of place. People don't really know if they want to leave their countries or go to a new country. So if someone is feeling that they want to go to a new place, you have to take it. I took a major chance. I just trusted that something was going to work out. I quit my job and moved. I had some things saved up, but I just took what I had and went and just made a move and accepted what was going to happen. Not everyone is in that position due to I don't have a family or children, so it was different for me. But people say with family and children, they can't just pick up and move everything. So wherever you are, you can create a paradise where you are. Even in the coldest places or the hottest places in the world, you can create something amazing. It's about what is it that you going to create. And so I came to Bahia to create my own life. I was in France to create that. I wanted to settle down in France. It just didn't work. I'm here and I want to settle down here. So yeah, it was just my path, but everyone has an opportunity wherever they are to set what they want and then do it. So yeah.
Yeah, just because you mentioned the weather just earlier, for everyone who's watching this, it's the deepest winter right now. Right?
Yeah, it is. It was the longest day, or the shortest day. It was the winter solstice. Just
winter solstice. Yeah. Here
this is deep winter. It's correct.
Deep winter. Yeah. It's pretty freezing sometimes.
Yeah.
I think last night we actually had to wear a jacket. So. But yeah, what is it that makes you want to stay here? Like
in Bahia?
So the weather is nice, right?
Yeah, I like it here in Bahia because there's a family vibe. There's people are still very connected to one another. You still have to get to know everyone in the community. Everyone sees each other. The small town life I really appreciate. People have a very closer to the earth. Their relationship to nature is much closer than, say, obviously in New York. People are just generally more. There's a nice spiritual awareness here that just isn't so automatic or so assumed in many other places in the world. In the U.S., in New York, is very difficult for me after a long period of time because of just the separation, people spiritually and from nature. Bahia, everyone has that kind of vibe to them, or it's put into people as they live here for a time, this appreciation for life because it is so beautiful here. And so I like that kind of essence that Bahia has, this spiritual beauty to it. And like I said, there's just beautiful families everywhere, and there's kids running around, and there's a much stronger sense of community that I have here. People aren't so isolated, and this era that we're in, there's a lot of attempts to cut people off from other people. I say attempts just because from a person who I love theater, I got into theater because the contact between an audience and the actors on a stage is irreplaceable in the theatrical setting. You're exchanging energy with those actors on the stage, and I got into theater because I wanted to impact an audience directly. When you have a film, there's a screen in between you and the action. In the theater, you're right in the energy of a situation. So it's very much a personal connection you have in a theater within the drama. So I'm so passionate about drama because of this physical connection. And that's what working with actors is and telling a story. It's this bodily connection and this feeling and this dramatic power that is possible to tell a story. Cue this pandemic, stay away from people, don't see people, don't get close to people. 6 feet is roughly our auric range, so don't get into other people's auras and don't feel the energy of other people. This is all a direct disruption of what I'm so passionate about, interpersonal connection. We need each other physically. Seeing on screens, while it has so many uses and utilities, nothing can replace that interpersonal connection. So that is what I'm so passionate about. Here in Brazil, it's still very strong, I feel, because of the community, the knowing people, and everyone's not just on a call. People go into the town square and they meet and they say hello still. There's still a strong connection interpersonally between people in Brazil. And even before I came, I knew that still existed. Or it was still a strong part of this culture, is who you know, and everyone's friends. It's a very friendly kind of energy. So I really love that about Brazil. And in this epoch, in this time period, I thought it's going to be a culture much more difficult for the Brazilian culture to cut that strong tie physically in between people. So that's another major reason why I thought Brazil would be a good place. And it turns out that's true. People are still very interpersonally close to each other.
So especially at a place like this in Bahia, right? It's hard to cut these intrinsic motivations of just wanting to hug someone and go and meet up.
Right.
I think we have seen in cities in the bigger cities like Sao Paulo, they're a little bit more successful there, right? So people are a little bit more worried, more the mask stuff, and
I feel for those people. Some people, maybe they're not bothered by this whole cutting of ties between people. They can't see their loved ones. They can't see people's faces. Maybe that doesn't bother them, and God bless them, and God bless everyone there too. For me, that would be nearly impossible to stay sane, and so I hope those people can find a way to stay human, to stay happy in such an inhuman kind of setup. A modern city itself it's just not conducive for the spiritual growth that I'm personally looking for.
Yeah, here in Bahia we have nature, like jungle, right? It's like there's a couple of towns that were cut out from the jungle, and that's where they are, and then the rest is just like nature, and it's beautiful. Wow, yeah.
There's so many angles of why I'm here in Bahia, but I think that, like I was saying, it's not. I don't want to romanticize the place too much, although it is romantic and beautiful. People, like I said, I know people that are thinking about moving to new spots. They just can't make it happen. It's just not in their cards to do, and the money. There's so many reasons, and so what I'm looking to do personally is to make a self-sufficient lifestyle. Um, I feel like things are really in the world right now coming to a head, and there's going to be big choice points of what do you want in your life, what do you want to do of your life. And if people are going to not take it so seriously or just kind of go, oh, I'm just going to do what is recommended by the authorities, then yeah, go along. And I wouldn't recommend doing that because you don't really know where that's leading you, and it could be very difficult in the future. But that's one of the choice points. The other choice point, the other direction to go is to go in the direction, you know what, I don't know if I want to go in this direction that we're being told we're going in. I'm a little bit hesitant. What else is out there? Do I have to do everything that they say I have to? They being the medical, worldwide medical, quote unquote, authorities, the government's all agreeing on policies for health. Do I want to do that, or is there something else? Is there another way to live? And it's that basic question that people I feel that they're asking themselves and are going to have to ask themselves. And once they do, are they going to make a move on that? If you say, I want to do something different, what am I going to do about it? Maybe I can say the world's messed up in all these ways. Well, what are you going to do about it? Because we're all addicted to this system, in a sense. This system is bringing us food into grocery stores. This system brings us gasoline for our cars. We're all addicted to it. So to not be so say addicted to it, what do I have to change in my life to be more self-sustaining? And what do I have to do to grow in this time in history? And so what I'm doing is that I want to make a life for myself where I can be self-sustaining, grow my own food, build a strong local community, and have a closer connection to God and to spirituality, and that's conducive in a smaller town, smaller community environment. And these are all things that you can do anywhere in the world, outside of big cities. So while I'm doing it here, what I would like to say to people is that this is possible anywhere in the world. And there are people out there that are sick and tired of criticizing the world. They're sick and tired of finding all the problems in the world, because that only takes you so far. Okay, then what? So, and then what? Then you build. It's a great time in the world to be building. And there are so many. We have the internet. It's the ultimate resource to learn this. There's so many people on YouTube that are showing how to live an alternative way, and there's a yearning for that now. And that new way is small communities. I believe small communities, self-sustaining agriculture, and bigger family, having a family and growing a community through having large families, and all of this. This is, to me, the direction of what a very positive and a very growth-centered future that's connected to God, as opposed to the lifestyle I used to live in a large city, chasing what? Chasing a career.
Yeah.
And that becomes dissatisfying after a while.
Do you have any concrete next steps for yourself? Something you're working on?
Yeah. Well, I decided to. I've studied astrology since I started learning about the Vedas. I started studying astrology, and I started. So for the past few years, and now I'm more dedicating myself to using astrology as a way to help people, and not so to say use it, but it's a profound spiritual science that deals with our psychologies, that deals with our purpose in life, and deals with how to read our strengths and weaknesses, and through our energetic makeup. And so the ancient India has a magnificent system, and the system of astrology that I use is tied in with the Western tradition as well. And so instead of committing myself to doing more film and dramatic projects, I've decided to move into doing astrology as kind of a counseling service. And that's what I do to to help people, because when someone goes to an astrologer, they have a question either about themselves, about their future, what is astrology even? I'm hearing about it. It's tied into that spiritual yearning people have about who am I? What are the reasons for life? Where am I going? And people have this inside. It's growing inside of people, and astrology is a tool that, through practice, an astrologer can help a person find answers to these things through knowing oneself very closely. So I do this. I do natal charts for people, and this is a way that I can work remotely, but also have help people spiritually or grow closer to a spiritual side to themselves. So this is a change that I've made. Instead of focusing on doing productions, which are very complex and very, they're just major projects. I have love for film and theater, but kind of honing in my energies to be able to help people in a different way. That is, and it's always been connected to showing people new things if they haven't seen them before, the Vedas, and opening people up. What are the Vedas? What is going on? What is this? And so bringing this into people's awareness is...
Is Vedic astrology, is that very similar to Western astrology? Is there any difference?
They're different in the sense that, well, again, Vedic astrology is much older and has many more techniques. And in Western astrology, there's one chart. Vedic astrology has many charts, 10, 12, very important, plus very important charts based on the main natal chart. There are divisional charts that represent different areas in life. So wealth, your family background, your spouse, your potential spouse. So Vedic astrology has many more techniques than Western. It also has more predictive capabilities, and there are many different schools of Vedic astrology as well. So I like it because it has, it's far more in depth for me. Although the type of Vedic astrology I do is tropical Vedic, so I'm using the Western tropical zodiac, and goes deeper and deeper and deeper to the reasons, the differences between the two systems. But it has a profound, what Vedic astrology will do is it looks into your karmic makeup of your body. So when you were born into this life, what was your karmic imprint, and that energy you brought into this life is reflected into the natal chart, and the natal chart will show you how the planets are energetically working into. So to put that into layman's terms, how your behaviors and the weaknesses and the strengths you have inherently. And when you can identify those weaknesses and strengths, you can better understand yourself and where you need to improve and what you need to, what you can do well to further in your life. And in a nutshell, that's what is happening in Vedic astrology, or in astrology in general. So it's interesting because it ties in a lot with what I was doing previously, which was writing scripts. So that has a lot to do with storytelling and psychology. A lot of astrology has that a lot to do, what story we tell about ourselves, and how psychologically our tendencies and the things that trigger reactions naturally. And so they're both kind of connected in that way. So.
And you're offering your services about this online? Or?
Yes, through my website. It's jeanmichel.info. You can find everything there.
Awesome.
I'm still working on building the practice that I want to give people, and but yeah, this is the services that I offer people, and it's a way that I'm finding my way in the world that I want to help contribute, and finding what your role in the world is, and what you can bring to, say, a small community, and what you can bring to any community. And so astrology is it's very much tied into my spiritual work and my spiritual pursuits, while I can help other people. It's a way to help other people as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great. Wow, this is awesome. So I guess we covered a lot. I would say this is already some good information for people to start, right? So if they want to know more about you, they can come to your website. And obviously they might want to come here to Bahia. It's a beautiful place. Is there anything else you want to give people to that journey?
Yes, financial stuff in the world right now. We're looking down. People have been predicting a financial crash for years, and so from the beginning of the pandemic, it seemed like this was a cover-up to break down the economy in some way. They were calling some businesses essential, some non-essential. Saw people lose their jobs all across the U.S. So you could see that even if it was completely the story that we were told, that story was that was the whole story. It destroyed the economy. If that was the purpose in the first place, who can really tell and who can prove it themselves? But we know that it destroyed or it changed the economy completely. So I believe that people are going to be looking at a big change in their lifestyles coming up in the next year and onwards. That lifestyle change is going to have a lot to do with how they're able to get resources. In general, we're looking at electronic digital currencies coming in. How are those going to be regulated? People are going to be paid directly from governments. We're talking about people not working and just receiving their payments, whatever they get, and then they can buy whatever food is available to them. So we're looking at major shift of, they're calling it the Great Reset. They're resetting everything. So in the future, I think that if you want to go along with the Great Reset and be taken for a ride, I think a lot of people are going to be taken for that ride. But if you want to, like I said earlier, if you're hesitant about where this reset's leading, then you're going to have to start to account for how do you get your food, how do you get your resources, how much of your life are you dependent upon trucks bringing those resources to a store. And so those supply lines, they're talking about electricity going out in different parts of the world. They've been hinting at this in movies for decades, of power shutoffs and EPMs or EMPs. So it's starting to get real out there, and that's why the best thing I can say is find a small community, get closer to your neighbors, start growing your own food, have a big family, and these are the essential things that people, if they're going to want to get through difficult times ahead, which are, I believe, guaranteed. Even if we could go back to how it was in 2019, would we want to? Was life really great then? Like, we were becoming more isolated. We were becoming more and more separated from people in our immediate vicinities. People are getting more technologically dependent. Was our life really great then? Even if we could go back to 2019, would we want to? Were we improving? So those of us who want to improve, who want to grow, and who want to make a better life for ourselves, and it's going to take some hard work. And I believe that hard work is getting back to having manual skills, being able to do what human beings were put on this earth to do, which is to learn and grow through interacting with the world itself. Concrete jungles are good for careers, and I mean, what else? I mean, if all you want is money, then stay in a concrete jungle, but there's more to life than that. And so I think the major shuffles in the world to come, economically especially, is going to come down to what are you prepared to do to hunker down, and how are you going to be able to survive on less, I think. And but it's a great time to grow spiritually, I think, through these material problems. It's the best times to grow closer to God, because gratitude and gratefulness for everything that we have, we're seeing now what we were taking for granted. And every day waking up grateful for what you had is a way to live a happy life, and a way to live in abundance with nothing, if that came to it. I have things, people have things, but gratitude is so key to it all as well.
Well, I'm very grateful that we met you here
Yeah.
because this is quite a coincidence.
Yeah,
I guess we took a very similar turn, right?
yeah.
The research group you mentioned.
We're friends in the same research group now.
Same research group, yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't meet you in it, but now we met in life before. We met in life before we met in the research group. We were already members of.
Right? Just like that, and yeah, it was hinting. The research group was hinting to me that this is a good place to be, and our common acquaintance.
Yeah, and finding like-minded people.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to find, if they're going to if they're looking for something in the world for answers, find like-minded people. Find people that you can share things with, that you can be on the same page with. It's not about, you don't have to agree on everything, but find your tribe.
That's right. Yeah. It's really important to find people that are like-minded, and I think the last year has shown very easily like who you can trust and who you cannot. Sometimes it just was very obvious for some reason, and
people are very nervous, I think, on the inside. People are very unsure, and they don't know how to react because they're used to everything being, oh, just do this and you can have your lifestyle's fine. Just things people are catered to, and now people aren't being catered to as much. They're being told what to do, and people are unsure. They're being shaken up, and so it's a time to find people you can trust, like you said. And there's so much to learn still.
That's right, and that's why we are traveling. We try to see where the places are that we could make a living at, right? Where you can find something. And this place, I guess, in Brazil, in Bahia, you could have some land. You could have your own food supply. And there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, and wherever there's land, there's food. Wherever there's family, there's love. There's the possibility to do anything all over the world. There's a false scarcity idea, and false scarcity is just that you need someone else to take care of yourself. And we're given everything. Everything we have is already here.
This guy wants us to stop.
Yeah.
He's like, I've heard enough.
I've heard enough, yeah.
Where can I sign up for this?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really optimistic about the future, and while there's so much breakdown in society, there's so much building to be done. It's about your perspective. There's some great people online that are doing amazing things, and it's about how you want to build. Telling my parents, telling my friends, time to build. It's not, things are breaking down, but you gotta get your hands dirty a little bit, and what do you want out of your life? And I'm staying positive, and I'm just finding what I can use, and going back to the old school, trying to be more old-fashioned is something I want to do more. Just work the land and do what our forefathers did, and grow and be like those great generations before they left the farms, before they left the homesteads. Build strong communities in that way.
Yeah. And Bahia is a great place for that. And I think we're still on the road, so we're still discovering some other places. But who knows? Maybe at some point we'll decide to come back to Bahia.
Yeah,
just because it was the best place to be.
Love for you to stay around. It's there's a lot of beauty here. It's a lot to grow with, and
yeah,
we should just continue making a strong community. Right. It's these networks in real life, outside of digital networks. Yeah, it's a great place. It's a great place to be, and wherever you are in the world is also a great place to be. It's about your perspective, about the people that you build with. So yeah, I'd love for you to stay around. Well, we've only known each other for a couple days, and it's already like, this is our third conversation, and the other two conversations were for 6 hours each. I don't know, so
we tried to cut it down a little bit this time around.
We're being a little bit more
But maybe we'll be back in like maybe a few months, maybe half
Yeah.
a year or something like that, and then it would be great to have an update and see where things
Yeah.
are going. And
Yeah, I'm working on getting land, building a homestead. So I'm moving on it as soon as I can. You never know what's going to happen in the world. So yeah, my goal in time is to build something beautiful, have some land and to grow, and hopefully I can update you in time with something of my own to show.
Perfect.
And yeah, hopefully you can have the same wherever you may choose. And yeah, people are yearning for this. People are yearning for the good, the true, and the beautiful. And people are ready for it. People are ready to start something new. And so yeah, hopefully that this will help people to see how people you take a chance and you go and you work and you build and do it yourself. You know, don't wait for other people to come and save you. Don't wait for other people to tell you how to do it. Just go do something. Just go. Even if it's planting some trees, planting some herbs in your apartment in a city that you're in now. Just start building, start growing, and it'll flourish in time. As a leader who I like to quote him, Owen Benjamin, he says, persistence is fertile. And I believe that so much. You stay with something and it'll blossom into something you'd never thought. And yes, and we'll see what the future will hold in store for all of us.
yeah, these are great words. We can end with these. Well, Jean-Michel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I hope this
That's
could have
awesome.
helped somebody. Yes, thank you.
Very cool. All right, you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, interview, whatever is coming.